All right, guys, our next guest needs very little introduction. He is a former Strikeforce heavyweight champion, former Dream heavyweight champion. He was a former K1 champion, and he's obviously now in the UFC, one of the most dominant heavyweights of all time. He is none other than Alistair Overeem. Alistair, welcome back to Submission Radio. How are you?
Yes, I'm great, and thanks for having me.
Oh, it's always our pleasure. Now, first question, just to kick things off. Just the other day in the office, we were playing EA UFC. Now, your character model in the game looks fantastic. We have to ask, have you had the chance to play the game as yourself and knock some people out?
No, I have not played the game, but of course on social media I've been reading about it. I've seen some pictures, great graphics. My character has a lot of abs, I've seen. I'm happy about that. Fortunately, not be able to play it yet. I'd just be focused on training and getting my own training going in real life.
Well, speaking of real life, Alistair, your next opponent has been announced as Ben Rothwell. You'll be facing him at the UFC Fight Night 50 on September 5th. And when you were on Submission Radio last, you mentioned that you'd possibly like to fight Josh Barnett or Mark Hunt. Were you surprised that you got Ben Rothwell?
You know what? The heavyweight division is not that big. So for me, it's like whatever. You know, I just need to make sure that I'm ready for anybody and make some change. I'm not training at Rick Jackson's. I'm then out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I just need to make sure that I'm 100%. And theoretically, it doesn't really matter who I'm fighting. So.
And I was going to ask, tell us about some of the challenges that Ben Rothwell brings to the table in this fight.
I mean, he's a strong guy. Like. Obviously something I got to watch out for. He's kind of well-rounded, although I wouldn't say that the submissions is something I have to watch out for. But, yeah, I mean, he's got his wrestling, he's got his banging, his striking. He's heavy, he's big, he's strong, he's more heavy than I am. So, yeah, that's something I have to watch out for. But I'm going to make sure I'm ready.
Now, Alistair, last time you were on our show, you mentioned that you slimmed down because there were no more huge heavyweights in the UFC, such as Brock Lesnar or Shane Carwin. Now, Ben Rothwell, however, is a huge dude. Will we be seeing a big Overeem in the fight, or will you be going for more speed and agility and cardio in this one?
Well, I mean, I'm eyeing the title, and title fights are 5-round fights. And even if you're not even fighting for the title, you're fighting main events. Right, so you got to be ready for that 5-rounder, and cardio is one of the key components. So I've just been focusing on my job, on what is important, and strength, of course, is important. But even when you lose a couple pounds, I'm still just as strong.
Of course,
it does matter.
I was going to ask you also. You posted a picture recently on Twitter. You looked very lean. I think you might have been standing next to one of the trainers at the gym. Just out of curiosity for all the fans, how much are you weighing these days?
Just that train is very muscular. That's just a joke. I'm at 250 now.
Oh, awesome.
And, you know, I think people went crazy when that photo went online because obviously you're such an icon in MMA. Just address the rumors right now because people are going crazy on forums and internet all over the world. You're not planning on going back down to light heavyweight at any point in your career, are you, Alistair?
No, I like to eat. I like to be big. I like to be shit. And to be honest, I can't even make it 205. You know, that would be unhealthy. So, no 205 for me anymore.
Awesome. And
people are jumping off buildings right now.
Now, Alistair, it's no secret that you've been training at Jackson Winkeljohn's. Tell us, how's the training been so far, and what's the vibe like?
Well, chemistry in the team has been amazing. You know, I'm learning every day. Get along with everybody. It's just really mellow, and everybody's just being themselves. There's no egos in the gym. That's what the coaches make sure of. Leave your ego outside, and you know, it works. I'm there every day. I'm learning, developing, just focusing on what's important, and that's the thing. When egos are involved, you know, that's where the focus is at. When there's no egos, you just focus on training and having a great time. So I'm very happy I made a decision, and also see if Albuquerque is a great place. I mean, people are so friendly, it's very open. It kind of reminds me of back in Holland. Back in Europe.
Oh, wow.
Very laid, but not flashy at all. And I mean, the city is a little bit slow, can be a little bit boring in the sense of there's not that much to do. But perfect. The team focus on what is important, and that's training and winning fights.
Very well said, Alistair. Now, Coach Wink is one of our favorite guys in MMA. He's one of our favorite coaches. He's been on the show a whole bunch of times, and he's actually spoken to us a couple of times about being excited to have you a part of the team and being excited to work with you. What's it like to work with the infamous Coach Winkeljohn, and have you enjoyed it so far?
Yeah, all the coaches put something on the table, and again, I'm just, very enthusiastic. I'm learning every day. And, yeah, again, I like the vibe. It's just been great. And it's also welcomed me with open arms. So it really was not complicated. It was just very easy, and I just went with the flow. And, again, I'm very curious, and I have a lot of good stuff to work with here. So for me, it's been great. Jon Jones was the gym, came in the gym yesterday for his upcoming fight with Gustafsson. And worked with him a little bit. Also a very humble guy, even though he's champion, he's destroying everybody. Very good guy to work with, well-rounded, good techniques. So I'm looking forward to work with him more in the future. But the whole crew, everybody's just great.
And obviously with the Gustafsson fight, that's another big one that everyone's looking forward to. Have you been helping Jon Jones prepare for that one? Have you been mimicking Gustafsson or anything like that?
No, but it was his first training, and he was getting into the hang of things. And me too, just vibing a little bit. Of course, I'll offer my services if he needs me moving forward. I'll be there for him. And I think I'll train him. I'll definitely train him for this fight.
Oh, well, that's great. And, we had John Dodson on our show, maybe about a couple of months ago, and he says that he spars with the likes of Andrei Arlovski. So have you had an opportunity to spar with some of the lighter weight classes at the gym, or is it more of a case where heavyweights sort of spar with heavyweights? Because we've heard that a lot of the lightweights spar with heavyweights as well at the gym.
Yeah, sometimes they mix it up. I trained with Donald Cerrone, Cowboy. He was sharp, man, before his fight, and looking at that fight, that was just hard work. So I sparred with him a little, but you take it easy. You're not gonna really fight. You just spar and you develop and you play around a little bit. So that's a little bit what it's been like.
And also, just quickly, Alistair, we wanted to get your opinion with Jon Jones. Obviously, he's been talking about at some point in the future going to heavyweight, much like yourself, who started off as a light heavyweight going to heavyweight. Have you had the chance to sort of obviously when you spar Jon, what do you think about his chances of going to move up to heavyweight? How do you think he'll do?
Well, I mean, he's a big guy. He's like my length, but a little bit thinner, lighter a little bit. But of course, he makes all the chance in the world. He's already very advanced. He's champion light heavyweight. So of course, he's gonna do good in the heavyweight. I mean, like I said, the heavyweight division is not that stacked. So for him to enter would be an amazing thing, and I think he'll be great. And he's a big guy. He can go to heavyweight whenever he wants, and I'm sure he's going to do great. I mean, he's very creative, and I see him already beating a lot of heavyweights as is now. So he can go whenever he wants. But there's still a couple of challenges left for him in light heavyweights. I mean, his upcoming fight with Gustafsson will be very exciting. And then after that, Cormier is coming, the dark horse. So plenty of challenges for him before he comes up there. But eventually it's going to happen.
Okay. Speaking of Jon Jones, you recently signed with Malkin Kawa's management team, First Round Management. FRM, of course, manages Jon Jones and Carlos Condit, Tyron Woodley, Thiago Alves, funny enough, Frank Mir as well. What was the main reason you chose to align yourself with Malkin and the team?
Well, first of all, you need to have management. So we just sat down, came to an agreement. And for me, it's just all about you need to have management. So I want to have the best management. And who better than the best fighters on the planet, right? And I'm also training with the best fighters. So that's not that complicated to imagine why I signed with First Round Management.
And just quickly, sorry to cut in, Dennis. Obviously, being with First Round Management, you're training at Jackson Winkeljohn camp. Do you feel like you finally found a home for yourself? And do you see yourself being aligned with both the teams for the foreseeable future?
Well, I feel great. I'm developing every day, but I I'm not going to be baited into false sense of security. You know, you always have to be sharp and always have to want to improve, and yeah, always have to look for it. But I can say that at the moment I'm feeling very confident, very comfortable, and yeah, as long as I feel this way, there's no need to change anything. So far so good. So far so great.
So far, so great. Absolutely. Well said. Now, Junior Dos Santos is a matchup that you've spoke of before, and I think everybody's obsessed with this fight because it's probably one of the biggest fights to make in the heavyweight division right now. Now, you've mentioned that after Ben, now, not overlooking Ben, but after Ben, you'd be open to possibly fighting Junior. Is he still someone who's on your radar? Because I believe that a lot of heavyweights are focusing on you right now because you're, obviously one of the biggest heavyweights in the division.
Yes, he's definitely somebody on the list. I could see myself definitely fighting him after this fight. You know, I'm just coming off of a surgery, so it wouldn't make sense to, because I just had 11 hours on the table and both elbows fixed, something that was bothering me for a while, and actually up until a point that I couldn't even train anymore. So now I'm 100% again. I'm still recovering from the surgery, but I'm the outlook is 100%. And then JDS is definitely a fight that I want to make happen.
And also, Alistair, just for some of the fans who don't know, I believe, yeah, you did have issues with your elbows. I read somewhere that it was your leg as well. Tell us about what exactly happened with your injuries.
Bone spurs, both elbows. It's just wear and tear because I've been training for 20 years now. And one of those bone spurs entrapped my ulnar nerve, which is a pain.
I wanted to ask you also and get a bit of your perspective. Obviously, your future goal will be to hold the UFC heavyweight title. Now, at that moment, the title belongs to Cain Velasquez, who will be versing Fabricio Werdum. Fabricio is someone that you versed twice before. How do you see that fight going between Cain and Fabricio?
Well, it's hard to predict because Cain is a tough bastard, but then Fabricio is a tricky bastard. And it can go both ways. I just don't know. You know, Cain doesn't fight that often, so it's hard to gauge his improvement level. And Fabricio is improving all the time. I fought him twice. I kind of know him well. Clever fighter, intelligent fighter. Persistence, wants to win. I see that fight. I'm going to go lightly for Cain. 60-40 for Cain. 60-40 for Cain. But don't rule out Fabricio. Many times people have ruled him out, and every time he keeps crawling back. He's tough, like a cockroach.
and obviously, if Fabricio wins, that would set up a great rematch between you two, a third matchup, and that would be great, wouldn't it?
It definitely would. It definitely would. But still, I think Cain should get him 60-40 for Cain. But I would like to for the title. And on my own personal goals, I definitely do see a UFC title run coming. It's been a little bit of a rough time, a lot of changes. Changes is never good. Usually changes are for the better, but in my case it wasn't. So, now everything's kind of settled down. Definitely seeing your title run coming.
Absolutely, and changes are always difficult. My girlfriend's always moving the couch around in the apartment, and it's hard for me to handle. But I was going to say, if you do fight Cain Velasquez, obviously, we all watch Cain. You mentioned it's hard to gauge what he's like. Do you when you watch him fight, though, do you compare yourself to him? Do you think about how you'd approach the puzzle that is Cain Velasquez if you did get a title match with him very soon?
Everybody has weaknesses, and I focus on the guy in front of me. That's Ben Rothwell at the time.
Absolutely.
But so let's keep focus where it needs to be. And when the focus gets on Cain or whoever, then we're going to talk about that.
Awesome. And also, just out of curiosity, Alistair, training at the famous Jackson Winkeljohns, you're obviously there with some of your older opponents, like Travis Browne and Frank Mir. Tell us what that's been like training with those guys.
Well, Travis kind of still is banged up from his last fight we were doing, so I've not had the pleasure to train with him yet. I did see him in the gym briefly, spoke a little bit, so that was all positive. And Mir, I don't believe Mir is training here anymore. We've been texting a little bit back and forth, but he's based in Vegas, and I believe he's just working out a bit. And I don't even know if what his next fight is going to be like or what's next one.
Now, Alistair, as it will be no secret to you, you've got a lot of fans out there, and when we told them that you were coming on the show, obviously they posted their questions. So we'd like to ask you a couple of the questions from the fans, if that's okay.
Yes, go ahead. But keep it short.
Sorry?
But keep it short because I want to go to theme park, and I have friends waiting for me right now.
Not a problem. We'll definitely let you go to theme park. So just quickly, Freud Fouch, do you miss pure kickboxing? Watching all of your episodes of the Reem, you seem really happy during your run at the top of K1.
I do. I kind of miss K1 because that was special to me. Shame its history is not there anymore. But I'm very happy training and fighting MMA.
Now, AW 9000 Plus would like to know, when you competed in K1 and Strikeforce, you protected your chin by keeping your hands close to your face, but in the UFC, you would often bring your hands lower to your waist. Is this a result of having to worry more about takedowns, and have you considered returning more to a striking defensive posture like in K1?
It just depends on who you're fighting. Who you're fighting, what his strong points are, what you expect him to do. And everybody got to make up their own decision what they train, what they do.
And just another question from the fans in regarding to your fighting style. Here's another big one. With a high guard in kickboxing, from where you often protected yourself and land counters, while that dynamic is different with the smaller MMA gloves, do you think that the gloves make a big difference?
Makes somewhat of a difference, yes. Somewhat of a difference. You should not. You shouldn't walk around with the hands for the head because you're not going to see all this. But, there's a time and place for everything, I would say. And that is for everybody, for themselves to figure out. There are no rules. That's one thing I learned in MMA. Anything is possible. Anything that is effective is possible. So, and with that mindset, just figure it out for yourself. What works for you? What works best? And even though, it changes all the time, too. Sometimes this works, sometimes that works. Then you have some guys are fat, some guys are skinny. So there's a lot of some guys have big heads, some guys are small. So everything is different for everyone. Figure it out for yourself. Watch tape, talk to your trainers, read a book, think about it logically, and try it out.
Very, very poetically said, Alistair, and we really appreciate the time that you're giving us. Now we have a quick round of tap out, a quick tap out round to do. If that's okay, I'll just take another couple of minutes, or we throw some questions at you, and you just give us the first thing that pops to your head. Okay, so are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, one more minute. All right, here we go. Dizzy, would like to know, what's your favorite Celine Dion song?
Celine Dion, who is that?
Well said.
Very good question. Now, Alistair, if you never became an MMA fighter or kickboxer, what would you have done for a living?
That's a good question. I'll answer it very positively. I'll probably special forces.
Alistair, have you had a chance to cook anyone a horse meat dish yet over there in Albuquerque?
No.
Now, Alistair, with all the horse meat that you've consumed, do you ever fear that an evil horse assassin will come after you in the middle of the night?
Nah.
Alistair, you were over in Australia, you did a great seminar for Everything MMA. How did you enjoy being in the country, and are the women here in the top 3 in the world for you?
It was great, and actually on top of that, I'm actually planning to come back. So planning for this November to be back in Australia, be there like a month or so. So we'll be traveling around doing a bunch of seminars all over the place. And also I want to go to Stereosonic Festival. Heard some great things about that. A lot of Dutch party DJs that will be spinning there. So we're planning a nice trip to back to Australia, see the country, meet a lot of people, do the seminar, shake all the hands, and just spend more time there. My time was very pleasant there. Good food, very open people. So looking forward to come back this November.
Awesome. Well, obviously everyone in Australia would love to have you over at Alistair, and Stereosonic's a whole bunch of fun, so that would be great as well. Guys, you can follow him at Alistair Overeem on Twitter. Check him out at alistairovereem.com, and of course look out for the Reem documentary. That thing is absolutely awesome, very informative, and a great look at obviously Alistair Overeem's life and everything there. Alistair, thank you so much for being on the show. We really appreciate your time.
By the way, new episode will be coming soon. Couple more days, new episode of the Reem. So keep your eyes for that. It's going to be on the website, alistair.com.
Yeah, we'll obviously retweet that so that everybody can see it. Again, Alistair, thanks so much for being on the show. We appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you for having me, and maybe see you in November.
Oh,
Absolutely,
definitely.
we'd love to.
Yeah, man. See you in November.